I was born in Wyoming and moved here with my family when I was 1 and spent my childhood hiking around the Elkhorns and the Wallowas and adventuring with my parents. They were really active and both of them are wildlife biologists, so we got out into nature pretty much every opportunity, which of course when I was a kid was annoying. I wanted to be playing video games.
I moved to Oregon in 1979. The first year I was in Northeast Oregon, I went to the employment office in Enterprise, and there were 2 jobs, cook and sheep herder. So I selected the outdoor option, and I found myself down in the Imnaha Canyon herding sheep, 1,500 head of sheep, 4 horses, 3 dogs, and me, and just totally fell in love with this place.
I think a lot of Eastern Oregonians joke about keeping this area secret.
Because it's like no other place on earth.
The diversity of the region is amazing and unique.
You can go from the bottom of Hell's Canyon,
the deepest river canyon in North America,
up to the top of the Eagle Cap Wilderness, and just a few miles as a red-tailed hawk would fly across the landscape.
Science is showing more and more that the ability for species to move and migrate in response to stressors, to climate change, to the seasons, this is what's important for success of species and biodiversity. And so when we have this large connected tract of land, it's not just that we're looking at the Wallowas as one ecosystem and Hell's Canyon as one ecosystem. These places are connected not only to each other, but also to this huge wildlife corridor that runs down the Rockies.
It's really important that these forests stay resilient, that the landscapes stay resilient, that we have intact ecosystems that are connected across a very broad landscape, because plants are going to need to migrate as their environment changes. Animals that depend on those plants will also have to migrate in response to climate change. And we, human beings, it's our role to ensure that that transition can be as graceful as possible in the face of great uncertainty.
Climate change is happening, but we still have a choice about how we interact with that and what priorities we set for ourselves going into the future. It's not like some governing body is going to swoop down and save these places. Now more than ever, we need to fight harder to save what we have now for future generations.
Maybe the most important part of our work is to be a voice for the animals that don't have a voice, for the trees that can't speak for themselves, for the waters that don't speak our language.
There is intrinsic value in wild places that doesn't have to do with profit. If you value life, if you value plants and animals at that most basic level, then this place is really valuable.
You know, I've been coming to this forest for 36 years. I've watched it grow, I've watched it change, I've watched some of the trees die, I've watched the dead trees become habitat for woodpeckers and insects. I've experienced the natural world in a very intimate way.
This landscape, the people, the wildlife, the flora, the fauna, everything is so central to my identity. And it took me leaving to realize how much I had taken for granted my childhood in this beautiful corner of the planet. I hope that we can prioritize nature and all of its complexity and magnificence.